The new draft medium density policy is the biggest shift in housing in WA in the last 30 years. It encompasses a variety of housing typologies from single houses through to low-rise apartments and ranging from R30 through to R60. The draft policy is designed to deliver more livable, sustainable and diverse housing and provide a better standard of living for the broader community. We commend the Design WA team for their approach and engagement with the architectural profession during the drafting of this policy. The Association of Consulting Architects, in collaboration with the Australian Institute of Architects, present the following recorded dialogue by key practitioners providing feedback on the draft medium density policy to help us engage our members in regional areas as well as our city-based practices. This series is designed to engage us all, across the state, to stimulate discussion on this critical new framework that will shape the designs and businesses of our member practices for decades to come.
The new medium density code can unlock the living potential of our towns and cities by making housing contribute to, rather than detract from, the whole ecology of places. The logic of a defined primary living space is excellent. A really good room for every house, located and shaped for amenity. Coupling it with the primary garden area, making the pair locked together and indispensable, ensures spatial equity between house and landscape. Lets us imagine dwellings that fully integrate an outdoor living environment, wonderful for our Western Australian climate. This coupled pair of spaces is an anchor of the policy, and in turn it should be more firmly tethered to orientation. The urgent importance of healthy, climate-sensitive design could and should override other policy settings.
In Australia, the total economic cost of urban heat island effect is $300 million and is becoming a significant issue for vulnerable communities who are susceptible to health issues associated with extreme heat. On the flip side, significant tree canopy has considerable positive impacts on community health, socially, mentally and physically. Tree canopy reduces air pollution, stores carbon, supports flora and fauna diversity, and improves stormwater and nutrient loads. Tree canopy also plays a big role in the character and identity of our suburbs. The medium density policy is most likely to be implemented within some of the hottest suburbs in WA, where a lack of significant tree canopy creates hot urban environments. In many low density suburbs, which are likely to accommodate infill projects, verges have not been designed to allow for tree canopy, with footpaths, overhead power lines, underground services and crossovers. The current R codes have minimal reference to significant trees, gardens and deep soil zones, and as a result we have seen the broad-scale removal of significant character trees across the suburbs. We support the medium density draft policy in its aims to address tree canopy loss across WA. The medium density draft policy should go further to introduce best practice requirements and incentives to protect our significant trees, to ensure we do not continue the irreversible damage to green infrastructure and landscape identity of our neighbourhoods.
We're interested in the emerging trend of people living and working in their suburbs after the pandemic, as we move away from a centralised commuter-based model towards suburbs that can support jobs, shopping and other activities with far less travel. However, in order to accommodate these changing preferences, existing suburbs need to play host to different types of activities and not just be places to live. So we'd like to see the new medium density policy take on an active role in this space as well, by providing incentives for new housing to incorporate characteristics which support this transformation, to ensure that new developments equip their residents to become effective citizens and beneficiaries of this new suburban future. Our Free Alternative project investigated one possible way of equipping grouped housing for such change. We intentionally opened up the communal spaces of the development to the street, connecting them. This facing outwards promotes engagement. Passive surveillance, it provides opportunities for commercial activities to make working from home more powerful and sustainable. Places to host essential meetings, sell products, to deliver services, appropriately integrated with places for living. We believe the result can only strengthen the neighbourliness and the community which the draft policy already seeks to encourage.
Personally, I believe the medium density piece to be the most important gig in town. Its emphasis on diversity means we start creating communities, not suburbs, which currently tend to be demographic monocultures. The cures to the problems that have crept into the recent versions of the R codes have ended up being pretty simple, and we really hope minimum lot sizes disappear and we just start using averages. Subdivisions should respond to existing trees, houses and orientation, not just to conform to a minimum area. And dropping minimums mean we can have large and small dwellings on the same lot. That's what will encourage diversity, multi-generational living. And get rid of visitor bays on site. That's what streets and verges are for. Going 3 stories frees up sites, leaves room for trees, and gives the architect room to really work the site.
The shift to relax constraints on the built form controls and instead use primary open space as a mechanism to improve medium density development is a successful step forward in the new codes. In turning to a requirement for consolidated garden spaces to the north of a dwelling site, site planning becomes far more strategic as it requires consideration from the very outset. One of the challenges that may arise from this addition to the code can be about ensuring developers can still achieve a profitable yield and hence a higher quality of development. The risk being that it could start to limit the options for built form and the result may seem forced. Conversely, this may encourage many developers to work closer with architects across all scales, resulting in better amenity and outcome for the broader community.
We now encourage all practitioners to download and review the draft medium density policy available on the Design WA website. We ask that you provide your feedback to your member organisations before the conclusion of the comments period in mid-April so we can continue to advocate for the profession on the shift to a more livable, sustainable and diverse future for WA.